Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, 7 arrested after 2 guns are seized at a Kingston wholesale. 2 firearms and several rounds of ammunition were seized by members of the Specialized Operations Branch during an operation on Princess Street in downtown Kingston on Thursday. 7 persons, including 1 woman, were taken into custody in connection with the incident. Their identities were not revealed. Reports are that about 5 p.m., the police team searched a wholesale and they found 1 Taurus 9mm pistol fitted with a magazine containing 4.40 mm rounds and 1 Taurus G3C pistol with a magazine affixed containing 6 9mm rounds. A third magazine, which was empty, was also reportedly seized. Former sales representative accused of pocketing money from customers charged. A former sales representative at a St. Andrew manufacturing company has been charged for allegedly pocketing money collected from customers. Charged with larceny as a servant is 34-year-old Lorian Hyde. Her court date is currently being finalized. The police report that between October 2023 and November 2024, Hyde collected money from customers but failed to hand it over to her employer. An audit allegedly revealed several irregularities in accounts managed by Hyde. A report was made to the police and she was implicated during the subsequent investigation. She was charged following a question and answer session in the presence of her attorney on Thursday, May 22. Police probing gun attack on parent at a St. James school. The police have launched a search for the suspect behind a shooting at a school in St. James on Thursday. A man was shot and wounded in the presence of his child, which triggered a panic and confusion at the school. He has been hospitalized in serious condition. It is reported that the victim went to a preparatory school in Montpelier, St. James, to collect his son sometime after 1 p.m. On reaching the entrance of the school, a man rode up on a motorcycle and pulled a gun on him. The news was informed that the armed suspect confronted the father and squeezed the trigger of the gun, which jammed. This led to a tussle between the two. The suspect was, however, able to overpower the father, shooting him. The father, who was shot in the shoulder, managed to get into his vehicle and sped off. However, he lost the control of the vehicle and collided with a Jamaica Defense Force service vehicle, then crashed into a GPS light pole in Anchovy. The wounded man was transported to hospital where he underwent emergency surgery. No student was injured in the incident. The St. James police are trying to establish a motive for the attack. Prime Minister Holness tells electorate to vote on government's record of achievement. Jamaica Labour Party leader and the Prime Minister Andrew Holness is continuing his call for the electorate to return his government to power when they go to the polls in the general election. Speaking at a party meeting in Burnt Savannah, St. Elizabeth on Thursday, Mr. Holness said the electorate should judge his administration based on its record of achievement.
Without any fear of contradiction that we have done much better than any PNP government has done in the history of Jamaica.
Corruption will not be tolerated in PNP-led government, says Golding. Opposition leader Mark Golding has repeated that he will not tolerate corruption within a People's National Party-led government and warned that those found in violation will be punished. Speaking at a town hall forum in Manchester on Thursday, Mr. Golding said he is concerned about the level of corruption in Jamaica, particularly within government. He said Jamaica deserves better. Mr. Golding has issued a warning to members of his party should it form the next government.
And we are committed, and I am committed to leading a government which is above board, where hanky-panky is not tolerated, and where our members of our government understand that they will, if they're slip, them slide, and there will be consequences. All of our shadow spokespersons in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, and those who are not in Parliament have signed the Integrity Commission's Code of Conduct for Leaders. All of us have signed that Leadership Code of Conduct. Not one of the JLP MPs or senators has signed it. Why, I don't know. It embraces the 7 principles of good governance, which are international benchmarks and standards for running affairs of people properly, and yet they haven't signed it. So they're not really on the right path at all. And the country needs to get a new government which is embracing wholesome values and attitudes, which doesn't have this cloud of corruption, nepotism, and cronyism hang over it, whether it be a drill or whether it be fertilizer, which was given to the country by the Kingdom of Morocco for our farmers who needed the fertilizer. And then cronies and connected persons are selling it to the farmers who are in distress. This kind of thing is disgraceful, and we can't continue like this as a country.
Procurement process for $31 million surgical drill was hijacked, Dawes insists. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, is insisting that the procurement process for the controversial surgical drill sold to the Southeast Regional Health Authority was hijacked by unknown people. Dr. Dawes, who spoke with the news on Friday, argued that Sarah should have rejected the price for the drill. He also dismissed the claims by Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton that the proper procurement process was followed. According to Dr. Dawes, the surgical drill in question cost between $3 to $5 million.
Now, we are aware of the exact brand, not another brand that can do the same work, but the same brand, the Medtronic EM800 neurosurgical drill. We just found out that that is the brand that was supplied, and anyone can do a quick Google search and realize that this machine is about a $3 to $5 million machine. However, someone at Sarah in the procurement process, and I asked the chairman specifically who it was and how did they come up with that estimate, but someone determined that a fair value for that drill was $32 million. And that is where the entire process was breached, because there is no one with any fiscal sense who can say that $32 million for a drill where you can find a quick Google search showing that it is $5 million makes sense.
JFJ welcomes guilty verdict for cops in Deane case. Executive Director of Human Rights Lobby Group Jamaicans for Justice, Michael Jackson, has welcomed the guilty verdict in the Deane trial on Thursday, but says a closer attention should be paid to the issues to prevent similar incidents.
When we tracked the case, I believe in at least 18 instances we saw the matter could not even commence trial because there were several issues. The low juror turnout, you're aware of that. There were some administrative challenges as well that ought not to have happened. How do we deal with some of these systemic failures in the system?
Meanwhile, Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn explained the steps in the successful prosecution of the case.
The gathering of the evidence by INDICO, by prosecutors with their experience. May I say the judge was a very senior and experienced judge, because misconduct in public office, perverting the course of justice, and even gross negligence, manslaughter are not run-of-the-mill offenses that you would find being done that often in the circuit court before a jury.
Corporal Elaine Stewart and the District Constables Marlon Grant and Juliana Cleavon were found guilty on all counts, including manslaughter and misconduct in a public office. Corporal Stewart was found guilty on an additional count of intent to pervert the course of justice. Deane died on August 6, 2014, 3 days after he was beaten by other prisoners at the Barnett Street Police at the Barnett Street Police Station lockup in St. James. He had been arrested by the police for having a ganja spliff. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.